Thank you. Thank you, Cheryl, for the way I look today. I absolutely look great. And I get Craig Collins on here today. This is Robert Allen McCrae. And I'm here today with the Universal Reading Method. And yes, you can read now with Craig Collins. Magnificent moment in time because we are transforming people's lives through reading. Reading has a significant impact on your life and can also bring many smiles and much appreciation to yourself and to the people you connect with. So Craig Collins, welcome. Stay on. You have to wait and put them on. You go on there. Can you hear me, Craig? Craig, can you hear me? 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 Good morning.
Good morning.
Can you hear me? Awesome.
How are you this morning? I can hear you. I can't see you, but I can hear you.
You can't see me.
Huh?
Oh, wow.
I can hear you, but I can't see you. Can you see you?
Can you see me?
There goes somebody. You're coming on in a different way. Yeah, but then what's down here? You have to take your there you go. That's off. Good. There you go. Good morning. Hey, great shirt and tie.
Thank you for being here, Craig. Gosh. And yes, you can read now. It's pretty powerful. Can you see me okay?
I got you,
can you actually
completely in my sights.
And hear me fine? Awesome.
I can see and hear you fine.
So how is the day after your birthday? Since it was on Super Bowl.
Oh, that's right. See if anybody's on yet. But my birthday was yesterday. It was the beginning of the lunar year, the Chinese New Year. Very empowering day. I decided to spend it differently. The day before, Friday, I went to, or on Saturday, I went up to a friend of mine plays in a restaurant called Chichote's in Solana Beach, Cardiff, and he's a opera singer, and so he sang songs to me. I mean, like, he knows the songs I like, so he actually sang songs to me. He's an opera tenor. He's an incredible voice, and he hardly needs a microphone. And he plays piano, and then other people came up and sang, and we sang, but not just Happy Birthday. They sang Happy Birthday, but they sang all these other songs. And then one of my best friends who was on last week, Richard Crawford, was there with his beautiful wife and his sister. And it's Richard's birthday in February as well, so there was a celebration for him and with his sister. And then another friend of ours, a guy named Gordon Smith, was there, and his birthday was on the 5th. So the restaurant was just going wild with people whose birthday it was. And we had a wonderful time, really, really a wonderful time, and talking with people and sharing thoughts and ideas and listening to classical, opera music and it was a delightful time. So yesterday I decided, which was my birthday, you would think, oh, I got to have a party. I often have had parties, invited everybody to my house, which I considered doing that. But this time I decided I was more introspect. And so I spent the whole afternoon with Dave and Kathy Austin. And David has become aware that he is a channel, which is really unusual. David's really a conservative guy. And so it was hard for him to realize that he was writing from some inspiration. And then he asked people as he wrote, they said, well, that sounds like Thoreau. And that sounds like, I think that Steve Jobs said things like that. So he started exploring that and realized that he was actually able to channel these people and he didn't know them. And so when you ask him a question, he answers the question from this feeling he has inside that he's being spoken through, and he's identified who it is. And it's hard to believe, but I know him. So when he speaks, his vocabulary is huge. And the way that he articulates himself is huge. And he writes out just a spontaneous writing, and then these answers come out. So I had my birthday was fit with Steve Jobs and Buddha and and Henry David Thoreau and Einstein, and it was really a fun time. And then afterwards I stayed. I'm not a real big football fan nor a Super Bowl guy, but because everybody's doing that, I thought I should maybe jump into that energy. So I stayed and watched the Super Bowl. And I don't think I'll do that again. It was not my favorite thing to do, but I did end up playing a game of pool and winning, so that made it fun. And I did take a nap in a big chair, but it was fun to be around families, and it was a real small group of people. So instead of a big party and all this hoopla and celebration, it was a very meaningful day for me. So that's what I did for my birthday, my 66th birthday. Isn't that great? Wow, I just love every one of those years. I'm so glad that they're now past, and then we're going on to New Year's. And it's like a birth this time. It's like my birthday is like a birthing, with it being the New Year and the lunar moon and all kinds of stuff. There's just really a sense of greatness taking place. Yeah, I know. It's my. I couldn't believe that they threw a football game and then had a lunar moon in honor of my birthday. I was just amazed that things like that happen. I just said, "Thank you, God. It was great." That's my shy, humble self speaking.
Then it happens all on the same day, so you're going through massive transition. So that's cool. That is really.
Yeah. The transition's been really interesting. So today, welcome everybody. If the people are on, I can't tell.
We have 8 people here right now. So awesome.
Good. Well, I'm not wearing my glasses, so I can't see the screen other than you and myself. So that's a good focus.
Yes. So what is the universal reading method? And yes, you can read now. What are some really good tips for us to take away from today and give us a good feeling that we can read again?
Well, first off, because there are people on probably that haven't been on before, I'm Craig Collins, and I'm the CEO of Yes, You Can Read Now. And we are a corporation company out of New Jersey, and we've been happening for about 10 years. And so we provide a universal reading method, and we recently provided it online, so you can go online and you can learn the universal reading method. And we teach people how to read English in 2.5 hours, which is kind of an unusual thing to say, that we're able to transform someone from a 4th grade reader, and that a majority of the time they're reading at the post-high school level. They read 475 multi-syllable words. And that's a lot of words, and they're real difficult to read. And most of the students start off and they have difficulty with reading just, the words on our pretest. And those words are much simpler, and there's a lot fewer of them. So they're reading at about a 4th grade level. So that's a big deal, and I'm really excited when it happens. It's very touching, personally touching. And last Friday, as part of my, we're talking about my birthday. A birthday present for me is when I'm able to be present when someone's learning to read. And so a gentleman came to me who was quite well known and respected in San Diego and other places. And I won't tell you his name. I'll keep that as a privacy. But he's 64 years old. 64 years old. And so for 64 years, when he was younger, he was very much aware that he was unable to read. He was aware that he was dyslexic and that reading was a big challenge for him. So as he got older, he had memorized a lot of words, and he really worked at, and he wanted to read. So he did read, but he read based on words that he had memorized and that he recognized. And what we learned as we were teaching him the reading method is that he most likely added EDs and INGs and S's and changed the meaning of the word. So he might think that someone was going to be or had been successful, but were no longer, or were going to be and weren't, instead of that they were just successful that day. And so that would definitely change things for him. Had a lot of those types of experiences of reading. And then he missed 15 words on our pretest, which is quite a few words. So that means that the words that he was looking at on our pretest were words that he'd never seen before, or if he had, he didn't remember, so he hadn't memorized them. So at 64 years old, this man had a secret, and even when, in some ways, to himself, as to that he was a reader. And so he realized he wasn't, and he went through the reading method in 2.5 hours. And as I listened to him from behind, I asked him to speak out loud, and I could tell that he was struggling. He was struggling with the sound of BA, which is bay, and he was having difficulty with blending the vowels and the consonants and pronouncing the correct sound, and then determining which vowel is long or short. But over the period of time after we finished, he read 475 words for me. And my favorite thing to do is that I was there with him when he was reading these words, and I said to him, I said, "Faster." And he looks at me, "Faster?" And I go, "Yeah, read them faster." And he's going, "Okay." And so he read them faster. And then finally I said, "Read them as fast as you can, with just taking a breath between them, and just have a flash of the memory of the word." Well, I know what the word means. I recognize these words because he had a huge vocabulary. He says, "I just don't think I've seen them in print before." And so I said, "Okay, we'll keep going." And so he just read, and then he came to words he'd never seen before and didn't know the meaning of. And it was like, and he said the word, he was like egregious. And he said, there's one that was, if I can remember it, epithalamion. That's a big word. I don't even know what it means, but it's a big one of our words that's on there. It's for people to read, to have them challenge a word. When people are able to challenge words, I relate word challenge to life challenge. So when you have the ability to read a word, and you have a formula for it, you realize, well, then maybe there's a formula for all life. Maybe I can just challenge things and keep pushing a little bit and decode them or find the formula, and then I'm going to be able to succeed, because that's true. If we don't quit and we keep working at it, the formula for our success does reveal itself. And this is true with words. This is true with all words. They're all speakable. They're all pronounceable. It's just, do you have a code? And we provide you the code. That's what we're doing, is finding the code. So I wanted you to know that. If you're new to us, that gives you an overview of what we're talking about. And so, and working with this man, and it was a life-changing experience. And for me, teaching students to read either online or in person, or having a tutor work with a student and have them play our video and have them learn in the video and be in the background just to be for support after they're finished, is a miracle. It's an absolute amazing miracle to take place in front of you, or with them, or with myself, and it's so worthwhile. It just changes the person's life. They no longer have a secret, and they no longer feel. And I hate to use these words, dumb and stupid, but those are the words they tell me that they've been told and talked about and feel, and it's just quite quite the amazing experience. So that's what we're doing. And so currently we're putting together an opportunity for everyone that we can find to participate, because we want to teach the whole world. So I can teach the whole world if you teach the whole world, your world, people around you or people in your circle. So we've set up an affiliate relationship, and Robert's an affiliate, and many, many people that are listening to this program are signing up to be an affiliate. And what happens is that I teach it for you on the video, so you don't have to teach anything. In fact, I don't want you to teach anything. In fact, you have to be real quiet. Don't say a word when someone's learning to read, okay? Not one word. Just sit in the background and let them go on the video. And so you'll be able to participate and see a transformation in the person that you introduced to the Universal Reading Method, and they'll be online. And then as you're doing that, you'll be receiving $100, which is a real reasonable thing to have. I mean, you can make a living, teach 10 students in 1 month, and you'll have taught, $1,000 worth in your pocket, which we are excited about that. So, anyways, it's really, really a big deal to be involved in. Then after you've taught them to read, you can work with them on other things. They can learn how to read a novel that they're really interested in. They don't have to read those little books anymore. And they could be in a play. They could act out in a play because they can memorize the lines. And if there's a prompter, they can see the prompter and read the words. And many, many things. You imagine just not being able to read. If you imagine what reading for the first time would be like, just knowing what the street signs say. And if you're a teenager or you're a young adult or an adult that hasn't read before, all of a sudden you're remembering how to get someplace because you've looked up and recognized the sign, and you can say it. And then you can go in the store. It doesn't take so long to go shopping anymore because you got a list, and you look at the list, and you go and you look on the packages, and you read the word and pull it up and put it in your basket real quickly. And instead of going, oh, what was that word? And let's see, then is that got a P in it? Oh, potato. Oh, potato. Oh, there's okay. I mean, it's like, and you're looking for the potato. I mean, it's a lot of work. It won't be any work at all. You just be able to read the signs and see them right away. So that's really, really special. But also just being able to function in life and go to dinner, and read the menu and be able to order something. You stop ordering the same thing all the time because you could read it. You realize that you might be able to let's see if I can refresh this a little bit. You might be able to be able to order many things on the menu that you are interested in by reading about them, and it tells you a description. So it's pretty cool. It's just really, really, really. I'm just my whole life is predicated on teaching the world to read. So my whole passion in my life is tied to that experience, and I want to invite you to join me and do so as well.
You mentioned that some of the greatest things that you like to experience is what they say to you after they've experienced it, and it really touches you. Because how many times in that process have you found that it hasn't really worked for them?
I don't have many experiences like that. If someone is taking a behavior modification drug, that happened. That was really significant. The neural pathways do not shoot to the other parts of the brain. If they were, like I had one kid who took off at the break and he went and smoked a joint, so I came back and he went there, he had disconnected. So when he came back, nothing that I had shared with him was available to him. So those are times when we have difficulty. On occasion, there are people whose eyes, what they see and what they're hearing don't connect. And so we have a solution for that. And so I hope that people will talk to me if they have that experience where their student is having that issue, because I can tell them something they can do that's real special. But other than that, we're not having the experience where people tell us that something didn't happen. My brother taught people who were Down syndrome, but he wasn't successful in 2.5 hours, but it took him 15 weeks, twice a week, a couple hours each time. But what they did do is that they were adults and they had never knew anything about letters, sounds, and words before. One of the boys couldn't speak English or speak. He would go, bah, 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 bah. But he was saying something. He was making sounds that meant something to him, but they didn't connect to the words that people understood. And so he actually stood up in front of a judge, as did 3 of his other cronies, and they all lived in the same group home. And he was able to win his right to live in that group home and not go to a state hospital, which is probably the worst place for someone to go. And they got to stay in their group home because in 15 weeks, they were able to learn to read and then read in front of the judge in court. And so he ruled in favor of their staying in the group home instead of sending them off to a state hospital. And talk about the feeling level, and it was filled with lawyers in the room, and all the lawyers are in their 1 and 2 and 3-piece suits and ties, and very muy macho for lawyers. And we're looking around, looking at these grown men who are very serious people who were crying because they were so touched by what they observed. So it was a very, very special moment. And we have many, many special moments. And if you get involved with this, you'll have many, many special moments. Someone says, how are you? If you've transformed 2 readers or 1 reader that day, 1 learner to a reader and change their life, wow. How can you say you're having a bad day or a bad week? No matter what's going on, that happened. And you're a part of it. And you didn't have to do anything other than to be a support and let them watch the video of me teaching it. I want you to know that the video is so good that it's better than when I teach it myself. That's a big deal. It's better than me because we teach 7 concepts. And so we're teaching 7 concepts about reading, and that's what we want them to take in. And when they meet me, I look like somebody, and they go, does he like me? Or do I like him? And is he going to give me a grade? Or is he going to laugh at me? Or, all kinds of things can happen. Well, I'm on a video, so they are very aware of being on a video with a video game, and there's nobody there. That's one of the attractions about being an interactive type of situation on a video, is because there's nobody else there that's thinking. So they're not feeling about you. So you get to be all you want to be, and they're just going to respond to the way you are and not have any expectations on you. So no additional concepts. So 7 concepts is what we teach. And one thing is very important is that as you do sign up for our reading method, which Robert's going to give you a place to go to do so, make sure that you follow everything. You speak out loudly, so you can hear yourself say it, or that the student you're working with does so. And then there's a 15-minute walk. Don't skip the walk. I don't care what the weather is like. I don't care what reasons you might have. Take that 15-minute walk, because that's when the mind consolidates the information it has heard on the video and from me teaching it. And then when they come back, they're going to be you'll give them 4 sheets of paper that are the review. And it's a review of what they heard on the video. Well, that's real important they do that. And over, repeat it a couple times. It's not about learning the reading method. It's about, or knowing, I know that. It's not about that. It's about having the brain, taking it on and remembering it by putting it on the brain many times in their own way. So that there's not necessarily the order. They can skip around the pages and go to the magical 29 word, 7-syllable word, or they can work on the blends, or they can work on the exercise that teaches them when a vowel is long or short. It's all really, really important that they just go through it. That's the main thing, is that they go through it. That a lot of times people don't go through the whole thinking, oh, I know how to do that. But no, it's not about knowing. It's about doing exactly what we ask you to do. And we don't answer any questions. There's no questions asked or answered during the time once it starts. And it's important that somebody, if you need to use the restroom, go to the bathroom before you go, before you start. And if you need a glass of water with you, have a glass of water. You can sip on some water and just but just don't give up. And when you go on that walk, be sure and come back. Oh, I know. I want to share something. There's a tingling sensation that takes place in your brain. We're actually activating two dormant parts of your brain. So the part of your brain could be feeling a little like an excitement going on, and you're not, might be scratching the back of your head or moving your hair. And so we've had people when they have that experience think, oh, there's something wrong. No, there's something very right. So if you have a tingling feeling or a feeling inside you that goes on as you're learning the reading method, hang in there, because that's the great news. When you take your walk, it'll all subside a lot more, but it'll all integrate. But that means that something's shifting inside you, and that shifting is you're learning to read. You're going to be able to read when you're done.
Thank you,
so
Craig.
That's what we're doing.
You know what? This is very, very special, especially today. We're here with Craig Collins, and he has a corporation called Yes, You Can Read Now and the Universal Reading Method. And he was going through, Craig, I really appreciate the detail that you put in it today and how you described how we needed to go through that process. And I'd encourage the listeners here to participate, ask us questions, what they think, jump on the panel here if you would like. But also, more importantly, give us a try, because you know what? Just take a look at all the information that we're sending out to you today. We'll be glad to have a conversation with you and feel into what will be the best thing for you. And for today, Craig Collins, thank you for being here. And I appreciate the insight and wealth of knowledge and the 10 years of research that you've put into this project. Thank you very much. Thank you for being here today, everyone. And Craig, 1 o'clock tomorrow, Eastern Standard Time, 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. See us here for another episode of Craig Collins and Robert Allen McCrae on the Universal Reading Method. Thank you, everybody.
Oh, one last statement for you is that tomorrow I may be able to tell you a little bit of what's going on at the University of California at San Diego, because they're doing a study, a brain imaging study on our universal reading method, and so there may be some things that I can tell you about that.
That's
so
exciting.
Look forward to talking
that will be
to
a great episode. Thank you very much, Craig, and goodbye, everybody. Enjoy. We'll talk tomorrow, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.